What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Expansion Pack podcast, where we download this week's gaming news, and you guys already know we bring it straight to you. I'm your host, Danzel, aka Black Ice, joined by my co-host each and every week. Starting over to my right, we got Manny, aka the Goop Master Flex. What's going on, man?
You know, stay gooping.
Stay gooping and hooping. And then we got my man down low here, my guy Chris, aka May 25th. Which, if you guys may or may not be watching this on his birthday or around his birthday, because it is his birthday week. So happy birthday, my guy. How you doing?
Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Same shit, different toilet. Tired. I'm actually looking forward to being able to get a day to sleep this week. Feel like I haven't gotten a lot of that recently, last couple months. So it's gonna be nice. Um, Weird though. I've never like looked at a day like, yo, I'm gonna sleep that day. Ah. Feel like that. But now that's kind of where I'm at.
That's like an adulting thing, bro.
Yeah, no, I just hit that wall because, yeah, all the working and everything like that. Just be like, yo, just want to lay and just
Sleep all day.
Sunday sounds like a great day for that. So it's gonna be nice.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, we're here to talk about some games. There hasn't been too much gaming news this week, but definitely a couple of little tidbits that, definitely tickled our fancies, things that we wanted to talk about a little bit. But before we get into those stories, you guys already know what it is. We're approaching the summer, even though it feels like we're already in the thick of it with these 90 plus degree days. But Chris, I'm gonna have you break out the ice. Talk to us, man.
A long time since we ding, hit you with one of those. Man, it's hot as fuck outside. God damn it. This week's icebreaker is quite simple. Quite simple. Basically, what is your best gaming moment? You know, uh, could be anything. Could be stuff from the past. Could be something that you just caught a clip of last week. But your best gaming moment, the one that made you feel like, if I was to show this to somebody else, it's a good representation of who I am as a gamer. Not me. Um, for me, my answer would be probably. Uh, I haven't given a Destiny related answer in a long time, but it probably would be when I finally got my first Wii ran. I've only got the Wii ran one time. I am not like these dudes on YouTube. These dudes is nice. So when I get a Wii ran, it's like a big deal. And I'll never forget, man. This was like maybe a year and a half ago. It just kind of was a stamp of my testament of getting better in PvP over the years because I started at a really rough place.
So for those who
And,
don't know, what is a reran?
So in Destiny, they have a medal that you can get in the Crucible called "We Ran Out of Medals," where basically you got a 20 kill streak without dying. It could be with assists. You can do it that way too. But I didn't even know I was on the streak when it happened. I was just playing the game freely. And then I think I remember sending the clip to you, and then I hit a shot, got another shotgun kill, and then I heard my man Shax go crazy, and I was like, oh shit! And I remember I was in the room, I was like, oh! And I got up and I was like, I finally did it! Holy shit! And then Bryce ran in and he was like, bro, what's your problem? Are you good? I was like, yeah, bro, you don't understand. This is stupid. I understand. But I just got my first Wii ran, bro. You don't care. You don't care. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell. And he was like, nah, bro, here's a shot.
There you go. You got pop bottles.
Yeah, dead ass. He was like, yeah, no, your celebration. You hit your stuff? Go ahead, bro. I was like, all right, I'll take the shot. But it's not like a life milestone, but it was just a personal thing I had been working at. These guys on YouTube, they get them in every video. It's whatever to them. It's like, we ran. There's another medal they have called I Made This For You. It's a 50 kill streak. And nobody ever hits that in Destiny, really. There's too much bullshit going on. And literally the medal looks like somebody took a marker and kind of drew a smiley face on it because they had to make it. So, oh man, that one, when I hit that, guys, I'll be back. I'll be back, to let you guys know.
Okay. I mean, that's 20 straight. No,
20
no
straight is
deaths.
rough.
That's rough
Yeah,
in Destiny.
yeah,
Because
yeah, a lot of shit.
yeah, anything could kill you like at the drop of a hat in Destiny. So
Yeah,
okay, I respect that.
yeah,
All right, Manny, what's yours, man?
And mine's not gonna sound as cool now, but
yeah. Well,
so nah, it was just like one of my favorite moments was like back in the early Xbox One days when we used to play Battlefield 4 a lot, and one of my favorite things to do in Battlefield 4 was just to hop in Operation Locker 24/7, just because that game that map itself is just like close quarters with like 64 players. It's like instant mayhem and chaos. But one of my favorite moments is like between the sites B and C. There's like this little like hallway and stairwell, and like I just got behind the enemy, and like they just kept on spawning. I just kept killing everybody. I think I was like on a cool like 10 to 15 kill streak. So I was just like, gun blazing everybody down. People spawning on their boys, and I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Like
I
I
felt like
spawn trapping. Okay.
it wasn't that I was spawn trapping. It was just that, it was like if I had the clip, it was like more of just like instant chaos. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I like that.
Like explosions everywhere, people just like jumping out of corners and everything like that. It was just like, damn, bro, how am I gonna get out of this? But
But you did?
yeah,
Sounds
but
like
I
you did.
did it.
Okay, okay. Battlefield
respect.
well, it's gonna bring up memories of this most recent Battlefield, but all the other Battlefields, probably some of my favorite gaming memories just because of the, like you said, the pure chaos that's involved. And yeah, I'm sad that this Battlefield, I mean, I actually did have some good times with this new Battlefield 2042, but it should have been like it's not nothing like the classics, man. Nothing like
Yeah,
the classics.
it didn't hit. I'm sad.
Yeah, it didn't hit the same way. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe they're supposed to be officially dropping season 1 in June, which is ridiculous because obviously the game's been out for some time now. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
Should
bad
have been
over
free
there.
to play in the first place, man.
I think it has to convert to free to play. I think there is a world where it can come back. It has to convert to free to play before that even happens because such a bad start.
And
But
let me
Just
tell
feel
you,
anyways,
bad for people that drop like 80 beans on it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like I did. Anyways, so my answer for my best gaming moment, it's gonna be a complicated one, I guess. So if I was to say a more recent gaming moment that I really like hang my hat on, it's got to be the fact that I played a very large portion of Elden Ring by myself. Had no help. I beat Melania. Is that her name? I feel like we always mess up her name. But supposedly the hardest boss in the game. Beat her by myself. No
how many
help from
tries?
friends. What's that?
How many tries?
Uh Not as many as you would think. I think it was
I
like
watched
3
one
or
that was
4.
like 250. Yo, I was like, bruh, he went at her 250 times, and still couldn't do it. But it was
Yeah.
very interesting.
No, yeah, it didn't take me that many tries, surprisingly. But I think even though most people say she's the hardest boss, for me, the boss that I had the most trouble with was the final boss. That took me well over like 10, 15 tries. Well over that. So like finally beating that one again by myself. Oh my God. That was one of those moments where so whenever something really good happens for me, Chris, I don't have that moment where I get up and I'm like, yeah, like I get up, I drop my controller, I drop my headphones, and I walk away. Like that, I don't know why. It's what I do every time. Like if we're playing Rainbow Six Siege, that's actually probably the other thing I would say. Like just over the course of time, that would be one of my more favorite gaming moments. Is like anytime you get an ace or like you clutch up like in playing Rainbow Six Siege, and it's like super tense, and you win, you get that final kill. Like Manny, you play those types of games with me more, so you probably know or have heard it at least. But like whenever I get the final kill, I drop the controller, like boom, like and then I walk away. Like I don't know, it's something about it. It's just a natural thing that I do. So that was that moment when I fucking finally beat the Elden Beast. Like I dropped the
Yeah.
controller, walked away. I just had to keep walking around my house for a second. I was like, beat that bitch, like hell yeah. So that's got to be my favorite most recent gaming memory, but outside of that, like anytime we play Siege or even PUBG as well, like way back, like having those final tense moments where you're the person who's able to actually like come through for the team and get the final kill or like clutch up in some way, shape, or form. Like if like Siege moments in Siege are absolutely insane because things could go to absolute shit in like the first 30 seconds of a game starting, right? Like your whole team could die. Like you're like in some completely different part of the building that, in the map. And all of a sudden you see like what, 4 out of 5, no, so 4 versus 5, meaning like one of your teammates died, and then 3 versus 5, and like it shoots all the way down and it's like 1 versus 5, and you're like, oh shit. Like the level of tension in your heart, you're like, I have to go and kill 5 people or like go and plant the bomb if you're attacking or whatever. Like that level of stress is something different. So whenever you get those aces, bro, that's a different type of feeling. I know Manny can attest to it. So
If I'm to think about it now, I remember streaming like a couple of years ago when Valorant first came out, and I was playing ranked, and there was a situation where it was like, so I think you got to go up to either 12 or 13, and it was like they were on the final point while we're all the way like at 3. And I remember we came back from that during stream, and that was actually a good one. But sadly, I didn't stay to that stream. So.
Damn, there's nothing like a good comeback. That's for sure. Nothing beats that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you for that icebreaker. That was a fun one this week. You guys already know. Let's talk about some games. Let's get into it. So, first story we have here, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, something that Chris had kind of brought to my attention this past week. I think we had heard some rumblings about it, but the Last of Us remake. It's looking like it might be more real than we thought. A lot of rumors swirling. Everybody's favorite insider these days, Jeff Grubb, he recently was on the Kind of Funny Games cast, and he had a quote basically saying that he's pretty confident that the game will be released this holiday season, which I find to be very interesting. He went on to say, and I quote, "You've got to keep in mind that The Last of Us Part 2 came out a while ago, and there's people at that studio who were looking around for something to do. It's pretty efficient and well-oiled machine over there at Naughty Dog, and they don't have to do much because that's the whole point. It's a game that they can update really quickly," which makes sense. I mean, and this is something that we'll get into, but like it really hasn't been that long ago that the game came out. So, they pretty much have the original code. They don't really have to build anything from the ground up. They're just updating assets. You would assume maybe porting certain code to a new engine. I don't know though. Like it's just weird.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, Chris, since you brought it to our attention, I'll let you kind of give your first impressions on the news.
My first impressions on the news. Let me think here. I think, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't think this remake would have been getting done if the TV show wasn't going to be coming out soon. I think that's the only reason why this is happening around this time frame. Because they know it's early. We know it's early. Everybody and their mama's like, yo, bro, really? Why so early would you guys do this? Nobody ever does this. So it's a little awkward, but I could easily see them saying, okay, we have this HBO show, and we've got a couple episodes recorded by now, and let me tell you, this shit is a hitter. We need to have some other shit to come out with this so we can get as much money off of this as possible. Because I think the idea is for them to turn The Last of Us into more of a, I don't know, its own like it's a gaming franchise, but it's not like anything else outside of that.
Yeah.
And I think they're looking at Last of Us and a couple of other IPs like Halo, potentially Destiny, a couple other things.
Ghost of Tsushima.
They're looking at this stuff. All this stuff. It's like they're looking at it like, it's a video game, yes, but we're gonna turn this into a much bigger brand than it started off with. And I wouldn't be surprised if any of these things come out with things at the same time frame as when the episodes are getting released. So like I'm actually kind of surprised that Halo didn't do more with that TV release and the game out and all that stuff, because you would have thought that would have tied together a little bit better. But that's the only reason why I think Last of Us is doing this, man.
Well,
that's or Naughty Dog or whoever.
I will say this: the TV show is not coming out until next year, so I agree with you that it would make sense to tie them together or have them be close together. I would have expected them to do this like after the show comes out, like not even necessarily at the same time, but like a little bit after, let it get its hype, its praise, whatever, what have you. But like, I guess the core of my thought on this whole thing is like seems way too soon for a new like a Last of Us remake. In my opinion, there's still some story to tell with Last of Us, like within the Last of Us franchise. Like I think you can make a 3 and tell more of a story. Like I know that some things got wrapped up in certain ways by the end of Last of Us 2, but I don't know. It's just weird to me to go back to the well. Again, I understand it's like it's an easy cash grab, but like that's largely the problem that I have with this is like it is a cash grab. It hasn't even been 10 years since the game's come out. I think it will be just 10 years next year because I'm pretty sure the game came out in 2013, right? So I don't know. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 has been around for longer than that game has existed. You know what I mean? Like, and it's still the same game essentially. I know that they did like the next gen port and they like charged money for it, whatever. But like they didn't the game wasn't remade per se. I don't know. I just find it weird. It's like nobody's asking for this. No one is asking for this. So why are you doing this? Last of Us 1 is an excellent game. It's amazing. There's a pretty good chance that Manny or I will buy it and we'll both play it because we share together. But I don't know. Like nobody needs this right now. Like go make the rumored multiplayer spinoff game that's supposed to come from Last of Us Part 2. Like finish that up. Go make a new game. Go make a completely different game. Spin it off entirely and make some different story about I don't know, what's that girl? Abby? Manny? Yeah. Make a story about Abby from the first game. Like give us her perspective from like the more of the timeline of when Ellie and Joel had met each other. Like give us like her backstory more, whatever it is that she had to go through. Also, like this is the events of The Last of Us is something that affected like everybody in the world, you know? So like there are so many different characters that you could go find. You could literally pull like what The Walking Dead does or has done, where they have the core Walking Dead, and then I forget the spinoff that they had, Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear,
yeah. Like do that. Like go just give us someone on the complete other side of the world or the other side of the US or whatever. Just give us a completely different storyline. And I think that would go over really well. But like, I don't know. I don't understand the need to go remake this game in particular. Just it feels wrong to me. I don't know. Manny, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's too soon. There's no point. I mean, even oh my goodness, even for like the game coming out 2013, and like you said, there's like a next gen port for, well, not next gen port, but like a PS4 port. Like that still looks perfectly fine. There's no point of like building this game if it is like a complete remake ground up. There's no point. I just feel like they're wasting the resources on something that doesn't need to be even like remade in the first place. Like you're Naughty Dog, you got other IPs that could be remade. How about you go back in Uncharted 1 and remake that and like start that all over again? Or Jack and Dexter. I mean that spent over a long time and people are begging for that.
How long have you asked for Jack and Dexter, man?
You got plenty of other IPs, and the first thing you think of is, oh, let's go make Last of Us 1 again. It doesn't make sense. It's just like, I feel like, in my opinion, a waste of time and, money. Like, there's no, like you said, multiplayer could be coming out for The Last of Us Part 2, which has even, like, we don't know anything about that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I just feel like it's a waste of time and resource. There's a lot of other things they could be doing instead of remaking The Last of Us Part 1. And honestly, in my opinion, if this doesn't come day one on the service for PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus Part 2, that's what I'm calling it. But if it doesn't come in that service day one, then I feel like, unless it's going to be something mind-blowing, I don't think this is going to sell well. So,
yeah.
It hasn't even been 2 years since Last of Us Part 2, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they say it's been a while, but like, that's not a while.
Yeah. I mean, 2 years, Yeah, you're right. It is about 2 years,
It
right?
hasn't hit 2 years. Like, yeah,
It's just
it's
before the
just about,
PlayStation 5
yeah.
came out, right? So
Yeah.
no, I think you're right. It would be 2 years this June, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like, come on now. We don't need that. Like, give us more content for Last of Us Part 2. Like,
Anything. Where's our next gen port for The Last of Us 2?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that would make way more sense to me. I mean, again, this is a rumor, but Jeff Grubb has a really good track record, like a really good track record. So typically, if he says something is coming, it's coming. The time frames may slip or something along those lines, but he's got his ear to the ground, and the people, his sources are usually pretty reputable. So we'll see, man. I don't know. I don't like it. I think a lot of people feel a certain way about it. So who knows? Maybe the reaction to it may also push it back too, or I don't know, something. The key portion that I think, if this turns out to be true, the thing that tells me in my mind is that God of War is not coming this year, and that this may just be something to just fill in the gap for Sony for this holiday season.
That might make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and like that's the only thing that would make sense to me for them to really be trying to push this if this is coming. So I don't know. I mean, that's it's upsetting to think about that, because I really do wish we would get a God of War. It seems like more and more the holiday slate might be lacking, at least from like the big, major first party titles that we were expecting. Like, if we're not getting this God of War this year, we're not getting Starfield this year. Again, Sony, there's a rumor that Sony will be having some sort of an event this summer. I mean, it seems more than likely that they would. And obviously, we know Microsoft's having their event on the 13th. So we'll have to see what this all turns out to be. But it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good this year, guys. 2020 might be a dud. It might just be the year of Elden Ring, and that's it.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy to think about. When you saw, yeah.
Especially based off our expectations. Like, we turn back time and go back to our beginning of the year episode, and we had all these expectations for this year. We were, well, I was mildly excited for Elden Ring, but obviously once I started to play that game, absolutely fell in love with it. I was really expecting Starfield to be like the thing for this year. That's obviously got pushed, and it's just I don't know, but
wait for Hellblade. Pray for Hellblade. God damn it.
You're right.
That were like, give me my Gears of War remastered. I don't care. I don't want my Gears of War.
See, that would make sense.
Gears of War and Unreal Engine 5, like, if they remastered on that, then I'll be happy.
I think it might be too soon for Unreal Engine 5, but
I agree.
At least just a remaster and like that whole collection, I'm 1,000% down for that. That, like you said, makes sense. That makes total sense, because it's been a very long time since we've seen the original Gears of War, and then obviously, well, it's
Well, I mean,
right.
what 2005 or 6?
I think 6.
6.
Yeah. I don't think I graduated yet from high school, so 2006 is what I'm going with. Yeah, we'll see, guys. But going on to the next topic here, definitely an interesting one. Some news came out on Friday that EA, well, they're looking to be purchased and or to merge with another company. I don't think that part is particularly surprising to most people, based on all the things that we've been seeing with, of course, Activision and Sony making moves to buy Bungie and so on and so forth. The consolidation in the industry is real. But this particular news, very, very interesting. Basically, this came from a news site called Puck. I've never heard of it before, but Video Game Chronicles is citing it as a source, so we're gonna go ahead and cite it as well. But they made claims that EA has been persistent in EA has been persistent in pursuing a sale, and has recently held talks with Disney, Apple, Amazon, and Comcast NBCUniversal. So the conversation is that apparently they were in talks, pretty deep talks apparently, to merge with Comcast/NBCUniversal, and those talks apparently fell through last month. According to the article, it says that the Comcast CEO Brian Roberts allegedly wanted to spin off the NBC Universal brand and merge with EA. Very weird. in a sense, just because the merger talk really hasn't been something that we've heard that much about recently. I think the last time we had a merger per se was probably the whole Activision Blizzard situation. Um, Very interesting. I mean, EA. I don't think EA is hurting for money right now, right? They don't have any major scandals like what happened with Activision. EA is on pretty good footing right now. Obviously, the thing that this article specifically cites is that due to COVID, a lot of different companies really took a hit as far as their profit margins go. So a lot of people are looking at the gaming industry and saying, okay, well, gaming was the one thing that either held steady or outperformed, through this whole pandemic. So I think a lot of companies are looking at it like, all right, the gaming industry is really where we need to be investing our money in because it's kind of shielded in a sense, right? Like, gaming is no matter what is going on in the world, people will still be gaming, right? Um, so it's just interesting to hear that like big companies like this are looking to merge with Activision, or sorry, not Activision, EA. Obviously, like Amazon, Apple, those companies aren't going to be merging. That's just going to be a straight up acquisition. But I'm curious what you guys think about this. I mean, personally, for me, out of all those companies that they mentioned, I would be the most interested in seeing EA bought by Disney. I think that would that would be amazing to see. Basically, EA get access to a lot of the Marvel characters. That would be really cool. They would do a much better job than Crystal Dynamics did with the Avengers game. Having Respawn make like a, I don't know, like a Daredevil game or something in the Marvel universe would be amazing. And obviously they would get more tighter integration with Disney and Star Wars for the Star Wars games that they've been making. So that would be really cool. And we talked about this in the past, but I'm not really comfortable with Amazon getting their hands on any major studios, so I don't love the idea of that. Apple, I'm not a huge Apple fan, so I don't really know how I would feel about that either. But I would have to imagine that regardless of whatever company they merge with, I think based off of how EA is set up, these games would have to remain multi-platform. So like, there's no worries about, oh well, Apple will make their own console and will only ever play EA games on Apple's, iPhones and iPads and whatever, what have you. But I think the whole conversation is interesting. So, guys, out of all of these, which ones do you think EA would make the most sense with? Or is there another company that hasn't been named so far that EA would make the most sense to merge with or get purchased by? Manny, I'm going to start with you this time, man. What are you thinking?
Of course, I'm going to say this just because I'm a fanboy, but I feel like Microsoft should be the ones purchasing EA. You already know.
Let's keep it realistic though, because we know that can't happen.
I know.
Let's keep it realistic.
That can't happen yet. Now, I wonder what the price point would be for to buy. Like, is it worth more than Activision, or is it like a little less? Because EA got them IPs, especially in the sports games. Sports games definitely do make the big hitters.
Yeah, absolutely.
But out of the ones that you listed, Disney, Apple, Amazon, Comcast, I would probably have to like second your thought with it going to Disney because I don't trust Apple or Amazon, and the Comcast is like a weird one, just because Comcast is more of like I remember you mentioned they do have NBC Universal, but it's Comcast. Like that's just a weird taste in my mouth. Unless like they have like some crazy plan that nobody knows yet, and like if it were to go through, see this crazy plan go through. Imagine like you get Comcast subscription, you get like EA whatever for free. That would be pretty nice, but. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. Amazon, Apple, you just put a bad taste in my mouth. I just feel like you do something shady where it's like, they would have like exclusive content for their devices only, especially Amazon, because they're in desperate need of something for their platform. But and then Apple, I don't know, like with the whole Epic scandal, like I'm still like iffy about Apple. So like I said, Disney would make sense, and then like you said with the whole Star Wars. They already got that with the Jedi Fallen Order. They got something going right there, as well as, yeah, it would be nice to see like them to take some Marvel IPs, maybe like do like a Blade game or whatever. So.
Blade game, huh?
Blade would be got my attention there. I'd definitely love to see that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so Chris, what are you thinking, man? I mean, and just bear in mind, it doesn't have to be these four companies. You know, like, is there any realistic companies that you think would make sense for EA to merge with?
Um, Makes sense to merge with. I kind of feel like it makes sense across the board with the regardless of who acquires them for the most part. Because I can kind of see where people are coming from. Like, so for example, if you're like a Netflix and you're trying to buy them, you're this big juggernaut who's just trying to sneak into another market. Or if you are another company trying to buy them, you might be looking at it like, okay, I'm here, but I don't have a lot of a presence yet. It kind of all depends, man. But I'm not surprised by anything. We've kind of been saying it for a minute now that we've thought that EA was going to probably either get scooped up by somebody at some point. I think it was always EA, Ubisoft, and Square Enix. Right? We've been saying that for a minute now. Like these three, I don't know what y'all doing, but y'all's about to get it quiet, bruh. Um, but it's hard for me to pick one and say that this one is the best idea for EA. Disney probably makes the most sense given the fact that they have a lot of resources and, like you said, you know, it opens up a lot of possibilities with characters and things that they can work with that they weren't able to.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like it's one of them situations where EA is willing to take whatever the best offer is. So the impression I'm getting is like EA is 100% willing to say, listen, if we get bought out, that's cool. Or if we get a merger deal, that's cool too. Whatever the deal is, we'll sit there and assess when we get it, you know? So um, it's actually kind of interesting, man, because it doesn't seem like any of these other folks who did their acquisition stuff in the past was working from this angle. But it's almost like because you can kind of tell that EA doesn't care which direction it goes in, it almost gave them like this invisible leverage in a sense. And it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because none of the other companies I feel like had this. They probably had to have a lot of conversations behind closed doors. I'm pretty sure some of them had to convince their buyer to take them on, type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
this is a little bit different.
Yeah, I think compared to most companies, I think EA is coming from a place of strength compared to, some of these other acquisitions that we've seen in the past. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I just would be curious as to what medium the content would be given through, right? So if it's like if they get acquired by a Netflix or a Disney, then how do we consume EA games afterwards? They do a cloud thing, like what are you doing?
well, so it kind of brings us back in the pre-show, Chris. You mentioned something about like the Comcast thing or the NBC Universal side of things. Like, you were asking like what would that even mean or what would that look like? I don't think that anything needs to change about the way they do business. I don't think that automatically means like we get some sort of magical, gaming streaming service. I don't think that that's necessary. It could come, but I don't think that that has to change. I think if anything, if you're on EA side of things, I mean, also obviously on Universal or NBC Universal side of things, like you have it's literally like the idea of like Star Wars being purchased by Disney, right? Like there's just more IP to work with now, right? So if you think about Universal side, so I just pulled up like a little list of things that Universal has made. So like the Despicable Me series. So like basically EA in theory would be able to make a Minions game if they wanted to, right? Like exclusively make a Minions game. You already know that could be a hit, right?
Yep.
Let's see what else. I mean, I think back in the day they made ET. I don't think that's necessarily something you're gonna make a game about nowadays. But Jurassic Park, that's something that I'm pretty sure Universal owns. Back to the Future, Universal owns. I mean, there are some IP in here. Fast and the Furious,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure is through Universal as well. Like there are options here for EA. EA just like kind of created like a whole stable of racing games. They could pluck one of those studios and say, "Hey, go make a Fast and Furious game." That would be huge. Shit, you could put down the Need for Speed thing for a second and just make a couple Fast and Furious video games,
Yeah.
and that would be massive hits. So I mean, there's options there. There's a lot of different things that could have come out of that relationship purely from an IP side. And then if they decided they were going to make some sort of crazy game streaming service or something along those lines, I mean, it's definitely within the realm of possibility. I think EA, they still have their Origin thing. I don't think they do game streaming through that, but you can imagine a world where like maybe that might evolve into something more down the road. I mean, and it still very well may. If they, let's say they partner up with Apple, even though we talked about that us not necessarily wanting that to happen, I mean, Apple engineers could definitely figure out a way to get that game streaming stuff up and running very, very quickly. Apple already has Apple Arcade that works on iOS devices. You could imagine that they'll sprinkle some EA games in the mix. So it definitely be interesting to see. Obviously EA wants to get purchased or merge with someone, so that means it's going to happen at some point in time, right? EA is they're kind of a juggernaut. They get what they want, and they know how to go about their business. I'm very, very curious to see where this leads. Uh, I'm really trying to think of another company that they could merge with, and I guess I can't really think of anything outside of the companies that have been discussed already. But I mean, I would really love for them to have been bought by Microsoft, because Microsoft getting back into the sports game business would be really cool to see. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever played any of the old sports games on the
Battlefield
original
Fever,
Xbox.
right?
Yeah, bro.
Ain't that one of them? I remember playing that. That game
That
was
game
hot.
was really good, man. That game was really good. Like, a lot of people talk about, the 2K franchise for football, and it's like that was good, but man, dude, like something about that NFL Fever was just a little different, just hit a little different. I think they had like a whole sports division, and I think they made a tennis game too. That tennis game was hot. Why don't we have more tennis games? like we only have
Probably
tennis
not a
games.
market for it.
Yeah, fortunately.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's got to be a market. If there's a market for golf games, you telling me there can't be a market for tennis games? I don't know, man. I can't believe that one.
What they need to do is be
Tennis.
bought by Microsoft, and Microsoft be like, "So we're bringing back the streets."
Yo,
I
that
love
would
that.
be lit.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
Imagine a Streets game made with UE5. That shit would look crazy, bro.
Even
What?
even just a UE5 would be great, but like the way that the Frostbite engine works right now, like how EA's been making their games, I would love to just see them do that with Frostbite. Like I'm perfectly okay with that, because I know a lot of people talk shit about Madden and whatever, but like I like the way Madden looks and plays. Like there's some like wonky animation stuff, and I think they need to iron that out. But like I could see that working in an NBA Street game, like that engine. And I don't know why they don't just do it, because everybody wants it. Like literally everybody wants it. It's such an easy like slam dunk, and they drop the ball on that shit all the time. So
I just feel like since EA is so comfortable with like just Madden and FIFA with Ultimate Team, that's their moneymaker. That's why they haven't really got to it, because they know they're gonna make money off that. There's no point of shelling out extra resources on street games, even though that will definitely sell.
but like they have that studio that's still been trying and trying and trying to make NBA games. Why not just
Yeah.
refocus them to make a street game, as opposed to continuously trying to make NBA Live happen? Or what was it at that point in time where Kevin Durant was the cover athlete? NBA Elite.
NBA Elite.
Yeah.
That
Like
was
stop
disgusting.
trying to make that stuff happen. Just focus on the thing that people want. Like, it's very hard to fuck up NBA Street, in my opinion. Like, you just give it the outrageous shit
Yeah.
that the old ones had. You rely on the nostalgia factor. You throw in, you sprinkle in a couple stars. Imagine like if they, I would say, I mean, I don't know. Kyrie Irving's profile has been kind of weird lately, so I don't know if he would be a cover athlete. But imagine if you would utilize him before he had all this crazy stuff going on, and you like, let's say you made Uncle Drew the cover athlete of Street, and then you put Uncle Drew in as a character and like had Kyrie's moves and all that stuff. Like, that's such an easy thing to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a game developer. I don't know.
It's
what it is.
it's wasted resources or wasted IPs that they have potential.
Yeah.
Like if they really want to be like money like hungry and everything like that, they could find a way to put like an Ultimate Team on a street. If they really have to go that low, you know what I'm saying?
I think the Ultimate Team is one of those things that it's extremely easy to do in every single sports game. If you look at it right now, every modern sports game has it. The show has like their version of Ultimate Team. It's just really not that big. Obviously, FIFA has its Ultimate Team. 2K has its version of Ultimate Team. Every single game has it. It's not that hard to create.
Yeah.
Like, it's an easy moneymaker too. But
Yeah,
alas,
they can just do that. Like, don't make packs. Be like, oh, you want Uncle Drew? You just gotta buy some packs. That's it. People would buy packs because they're stupid. But, well, let me not say they're stupid because I buy packs. But,
Damn.
I was gonna say you be buying
Stupid.
everything. Can't talk
Yeah.
shit.
Nah, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if they get bought by someone, maybe someone somewhere, even if they merge with someone, will be like, "Yo, why have you guys not been doing this?" Some executive in the room somewhere would be like, "You guys need to do this. This is a guaranteed $1 billion like a year if you guys make one every year or something like that." You know, someone has like that come to Jesus moment and like a light bulb goes off in their brain and they're like, "You know what? We can make money off of this." I don't know. Bring back the Bigs franchise. Bring back all that stuff, man. People have been clamoring for that stuff for years. I just don't get it. But it is what it is, guys. You know,
It
we've.
is what it is.
I think it's probably a good place to stop it. We'll, you know, as always, we're in a wait and see mode with some of these things that we ask for out of these companies. I'm sure if, I mean, I was gonna say I'm sure if enough people ask for it, maybe they'll do it. But like, it's more a matter of when, because enough people have been asking for it. So I don't know. What are we waiting for here, guys? It is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna head out for now. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Make sure to check us out on our social media channels. If you're watching on YouTube, just look right down below here. Check us out on each of our individual social media channels. For the podcast social though, look us up at XPack Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and then make sure to check us out on TikTok at Expansion Pack Podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching and listening. Peace.